Earlier on, you saw me in camp, getting out of camp quickly because of the rather inclement weather that had done a 180 on me. I'll maybe try and explain a bit more later on as to why I was still there. Basically, I was just relaxing. I was tired. I was too lazy to turn the tarp around or do anything else like that, so I stayed where I was. Of course, the rain got heavier and heavier and heavier. I did lower the tent or the tarp, but then the rain just got heavier and heavier, and the wind got stronger and stronger, and it was just blowing more and more in. So in the end, I just had to sort of, get out of there as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, as you can see, I got rather wet. Most of me, all of my critical important things, including that one, stayed dry because I bagged them up, into their dry bag. But everything else got damp in wet, and to make it even worse, I nearly fell in a river down here. So that was kind of interesting. So here at the moment I am standing, you can't see anything, and obviously I'm not going to lower the camera, but completely naked apart from my hat, my Yachtmaster here, and I've got my Sunto Ambit 3 there. More on that watch another time. So because the sun came out and I'd already crossed all the rivers I need to cross, I hope, I thought now would be a good opportunity to stop and just get everything out of the pack. That's what I've done. So I've made a tea. I thought while I'm stopping I'll make tea. So tea is there. My trousers are here, hopefully drying out a bit, but they are soaked, so I don't think they're going to get particularly dry, but I've put my trousers there to get some dryness out of them or in them. I've taken my t-shirt off because that was damp around the bottom when I half fell in the river. I've taken my wind shirt off because that was also damp. That's dried out mostly now. My pillow was soaking wet because I didn't put it in at the right time, so I'm just letting that dry out there. My underpants, I really am completely naked. Underpants are drying out because they were soaked. I don't know if they'll dry out much, but they're drier than they were. The only slight problem is my trousers are soaked. One advantage of here, this literally is the middle of nowhere. I really don't think I'll see anyone around here. So this is my down jacket protected in there, that's dry. All my dry pastry food got wet because I didn't bag it up. Maybe I ought to bag these up in future because they're like sort of already, sealed and everything. I tend not to worry too much. I think everything is a bit misty. Alright, I've taken the neutral density filter off just to see if that helps. I've opened the dry bag. Everything critical in there is dry, but I'm just letting the outside of the bag dry off. My shirt is here drying out, that got quite damp. Waterproof trousers I think is dried quite a bit, and my waterproof jacket is drying out. The sleeves are still quite damp there. It was so wet getting stuff into the pack. I'm not sure if you can see the water down the bottom in there. But of course, packing the pack, so many bits were wet going in. Obviously the dry bag was protective of what was inside it, but everything was so wet. My sleeping mat was wet, so I've just got that hanging out here. Luckily I don't see any gorse here, it's just grass, so I'm just trying to dry that out. I have to say it would have been very interesting if if this hadn't have been, the sun hadn't come out and this had all been soaking wet when I got into camp tonight. But because I've got one very small towel with me. But I think given the summer, it would have been fine. I wasn't really too worried. Anyway, I'm going to go and have my tea and then just unwind and relax for a little bit. It's about 3:45. Doesn't get dark for another 4 hours, and it's about 2 kilometers to where I want to camp. Hopefully it's okay to camp there. If it's not, then we're a bit we'll have to figure something else out. But again, it's not exactly difficult around here, so well, there are very few places to camp. Quite often people ask me where to camp, where to walk and where to camp, and I have to say there are so few places where you can camp. Well, I think there are anyway, and I've been walking around here a bit and it's mostly boggy and tussocky and things like that, so it's not the easiest of places to find a pitch really. Anyway, I'm going to carry on here, have my tea, and I'll catch you all a bit later on. Okay, well, where we stopped for that impromptu drink and drying out session was just down there somewhere. it was very close, and I was walking up here with the aim to walk over to the to a camping area over there that I know of, and I was walking past this dilapidated old building that used to be, and it's non-existent now. Of course, it's all been knocked down apart from this one wall. And I saw this flat area, and frankly it was too good a lazy Hobbs opportunity to pass up. I mean, basically it was just another 2 kilometers to walk, so it wasn't exactly that far. And you know, there's no guarantee that I could have camped there. Could be other people there. It is a more known area. So I saw this spot here and thought, let's grab this spot. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do tomorrow now. Whether I might still head over and have a look over there, or whether I might swing back around tomorrow. I'm not quite sure. The trouble is, if I head further over, it's a bit more to walk back on Saturday, which isn't the end of the world. I'll have to have a think on that one. I'm not quite sure yet, because I really don't want to be too far from the car Saturday, because I tend to be late getting up, and I don't want to be sort of so far away it takes me ages to get back to car, and then I'm even later getting home. So I'm not quite sure on that one yet. We'll have a think on it. Now, there's a few caveats with this camp. It's very rocky, as you can see, so I've had to use long lines pretty much everywhere, which is pretty much fine actually, because it's given me plenty of protection. Ideally I would have preferred to have pitched it the other way around, and then I would have had a view looking down the valley, but as you know, I can only sleep with my head on this side here, or my arm on that side, leaning that side, so it's a little bit slopey there, but I'll be able to put the burner there somewhere just about, hopefully. But the wind is coming in this direction towards us, so very clearly I can't pitch with my head to the wind, otherwise we're back to square one again. So I've had to pitch this way, but that's you know, that's fine. Now there's a couple of other things. One, there's a big stone right under there, so I've put the foam mat down. Good job I brought that foam mat with me, because that's covered up that stone. And over here, this tarp is so big it actually covers these stones here, and very clearly I'm not going to be putting Cuban directly over rocks, or indeed you probably wouldn't put anything directly over rocks. So again, my spare piece of foam matting I've used there for, you know, for protection there. So basically that means I haven't got any anything to sit on outside, but then again I don't know if I'm going to be outside that much with this weather. I can take that piece of foam matting out from underneath as long as I remember to put it back again and just sit somewhere out here, but the weather's so, it's turned quite pants really, so I'll probably just end up going inside for comfort. I tried everything out down there. I was down there a little bit longer than I anticipated. I had a couple of phone calls I had to deal with, which I hadn't quite planned on. But anyway, got that sorted out, I hope. So that took up a bit of time. So as I say, we got here, saw this spot here, and I thought, I'm just gonna stop here and just relax here. In a way, it's a shame I hadn't sort of come up here and seen this spot first, and I could have set everything up, dried everything up. But it was nice to get everything out down there. It's like a good experience, etc., etc. And then you're just walking along, see somewhere nice. It's not where I was planning on camping, but it's not very often that a hobs pitches somewhere different to the usual spot. So I thought, given that this is a completely new spot, even the one over there I camped at, as I said, a few years ago, and it's quite a large area, so you could get people there, and that worries me a little bit for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Friday night. You might get people there, I'm not sure. It's still in the middle of nowhere, so I might still head in that direction. I'll have to have a think about that, I'm not sure. I'll have a look at the map and see. I'd rather be heading back, so I'm not a million miles from the car, so I can get back a bit quicker on Saturday. But this is the setup. I didn't bother recording it because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pitch here, and the weather wasn't so good either. But I had to find a stone just to hammer some of the pegs in. Some of the pegs are only in part way, halfway, but there's a lot of rocks here, so I will double check them all before I settle in, but I think they're all secure. None of them are in as far as we would want them to be in. This back peg is about 3/4 of the way in. This peg here is almost down in a bit of a ditch, and I just put a stone on top of it just to hold it in place, because it's in. I don't think it would pull out, but it's a bit loose down in some rocks, so I just put another rock over the top of it. Okay, so this is our campsite. We've got running water here. I'm not concerned about water running down here because it's been so wet recently that if this was going to be a water course here, it would have been boggy and soaking wet underfoot given the amount of rain. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. So anyway, I'm going to unload a bit and I'll catch you all soon. Okay, Lassie just sitting there with her feet and backside almost in the water at turning. I think she must have webbed feet. Alright, so let's cut there. Okay, well I'll tell you about my falling in the river, almost falling in the river scenario. I was walking to a water course a bit bigger than this one here. We'll use this as an example. We'll cross it because the example doesn't work on this side. So this one we can easily step across. It was actually Red Brook, and I've camped near Red Brook quite a few times, not recently because I found another place that I use which is actually a bit better, a bit more sheltered, a bit better, a bit flatter, just generally a bit nicer. But I have camped at Red Brook, you know, quite a few times in the past around here, and every time I've camped there, which mostly I will say has been in the summer, I've never camped there at the winter, it's been, let's say, dryish, in that when I've gone to get water from it, it's not been the easiest of places to get water. Well, either all the rain we've had recently, or a combination of all the rain we've had recently, plus this big downpour today, turned a very, very small brook into a raging torrent. So I got up to it and I was looking and looking and looking for various different places. Interesting. I think I've taken water from this stream. There's some bones here. Anyway, so I came to the river, and when I got to it, there were some reeds, quite similar to these, to be honest. And I put you've got to bear in mind that this is all a raging torrent. This isn't just this little stream here. And I literally sort of put my foot onto some reeds here, kind of like that. Just like that. And there was nothing underneath them, just water. And I just sort of dropped back, I'm really doing so well on the camera, but I sort of dropped backside into these reeds with very little to nothing under them. Just luckily, I had the pole in both hands, and I managed to swing the right hand pole and sort of dig it into the river bed, just to stop myself from falling back, because I was actually slowly sinking backwards. And I have to say, if I hadn't have had that pole, I think I would have ended up in the river rather than just sitting sort of backside deep in reed water and everything. But it was such a funny angle. I couldn't really move so well. Anyway, eventually I sort of freed up my left hand, which had another pole in it, grabbed some reeds which was in front of me, and heaved myself forward. Unfortunately, I let go of the pole, but heaved myself forward, managed to sort of get up onto my stomach almost, and then I got up. Anyway, I looked round, and of course the river had taken my pole downstream. So I went for a little walk downstream, found it, waded across, got the pole. But it was, I still couldn't cross even there. So I ended up walking a bit further upstream and then crossed there. So the bit of video that you saw with me sitting, or actually I didn't sit at all, standing down there, that was me sort of drying my trousers out, underwear and everything that had got soaked there. Although, to be honest, they were already soaked from when I left camp this morning. And of course, the reason why I got wet in camp this morning, in a way it is a good job that it did it by daytime. If it had happened at night, I probably would have acted differently if it had been night time and I knew I was going to stay there for a lot longer. I think if it had been night time and the rain was starting to come in, because I lowered the tarp at one point, and that did a pretty good job of keeping the rain out, along with the kilt. That did a good job of keeping the rain out. And indeed there was some rain when I was sleeping, but again, between the kilt and the super light bivvy, it did a good job of keeping me dry, even though some rain was blowing in. But alas, the heavens decided slightly differently. I meant that the westerly, southwesterly wind turned into an easterly wind, and a strong one with very heavy rain. And that was just too much for everything, even with the door or the front lowered. So that's why I then I didn't even have breakfast. I then just had to pack up quickly, as quickly as I could, and just pack everything in and get going, which is what I did. If that had happened, and I'd have been sleeping, or it would have been night time, I don't think it would have been very much fun, but I would have had no choice but to get out and lower the front down to the ground and raise the back. I probably would not have switched everything around. I probably just lowered the front down, raised the back. So in other words, the tarp would have been the wrong way around, but I think for an emergency night that would have been okay. And then somehow I would have got back in again and just had to turn the bed around or something like that. I'm not quite sure how I would have done that, but something like that. Luckily, you don't get 180s in the weather, that often. And I say, luckily, it was in the this time of the year, so again, it didn't really matter at all. I did check the weather, and I didn't see anything coming in from the east on the forecast at all. It's all south, southwest, and then north tomorrow. There's a northerly wind tomorrow, but nothing from the east, so that was kind of interesting. There you go. Anyway, so that's my sort of 2 adventure things, but we're still here. We survived it. Maybe a few years ago I might have just sort of thought, oh, that's I'm going home, but we stayed out, we kept going, we got everything packed away. Like I said, all critical stuff, sleeping bag, nighttime wear. I managed to keep every single thing dry, which was the most important thing. And then that stop down there just gave me a chance to dry everything else out. So it's coming up to about 6:45. I've been about 1.75 hours now, and I'm basically just sort of walking around outside. I don't know why I'm just walking around out here really. I ought to make a drink, but I've got my foam mats placed in such positions I don't really want to be taking them out. I'm feeling too lazy for that. And the only thing that I didn't dry back there, which was silly, was this. So I'm just trying to dry this out. I think Lass has found I don't know what she found. She found a let's go and see what she's found. I think she's found a bone. Yeah, Lass has found one of the sheep bones. Let's go and see what's up here that's dead or died here. Maybe there's some bones there, a couple of bones there. Let's just go a little bit further up here, a bit further. I think whatever died, I think it's died a very long time ago. I think there's some more bones over there. It must have died a long way up, because there's a few bones. There's another bone down there. There's a head there, skull there. Actually, oh yeah, it could be a male sheep. Could be a male sheep. Lassie, come back here. Obviously died quite a while ago, because there's certainly no flesh at all. Okay, well that little walk got my feet wet. They had dried out standing around here. Alright, well it's 7:15. It'll be dark in an hour and less than an hour and a half. Sunset's an hour 20 minutes away now. So I don't think there's anything to be gained by standing out here anymore. It's cooling off a bit. I may as well duck inside. One of the reasons I was waiting, apart from this stuff here to dry out, is like the top of my Neo Air airbed was a little bit damp. I dried it out. Of course, when I put it back in the pack, I showed you the inside of the pack was wet, so it did get it a little bit damp. So I have that's dry now, so I think I can start getting into bed now, have some tea. I can't believe it, you know. Normally in a camp I would have had 3 or 4 teas or more in the morning. I had 1 tea this morning. I think I was so tired when I woke up. I woke up at 7 o'clock, and normally when I wake up at 7, even if I'm going to go back to sleep again, I have a tea. I didn't even bother having a tea. I fell asleep, and then I woke up again at about 11, and I think I had a tea then, but again I was so tired I just put my head back down, again, and then I think it was near about 12:30 or something like that when I kind of woke up, and that's when the rain was starting to get a bit more persistent and less pleasant. And that's when I thought, well, I better pack up and get going. So I'm going to say good night to everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm hoping you can see me. Actually, just my glasses off a minute. I just put the glasses on because I was just posting a few photos to Facebook. Even we can't leave the bloody internet alone. Anyway, as you can hear, it's raining again. Hopefully you can see me with a light. Lassie was outside. And she's eventually come in. She was standing by the door and I told her to come in. I don't know why she stays out there in all that rain. Sometimes it's not that easy for her to come in, but there is always space for her. But after, you know, our wet lunchtime, I'm still here. I didn't quite pack it in or anything. No, I wasn't really too bothered, to be honest. It was all packed away, all the stuff that I needed, dry. I kept dry, so I had no problems with that. And you can hear the rain is hammering down. I've pitched tail to the west. So I've pitched tail to the west, and the rain is mostly southwest to west. Tomorrow it'll swing around lunchtime to the north, which is basically where I'm looking, which of course is where the door is. So I'll definitely have to shift tomorrow because there is more rain forecast tomorrow, and I wouldn't want to be here with a northerly wind and rain, because I think that would highly probably start to come in, even though this wall is north facing, so it should give some protection. I think it's too risky. But anyway, I'll just show you. I haven't really shown you around camp so much at night. I've watched one I've seen one film. I started watching Iron Man 3 last night and fell asleep near the beginning. So when I woke up this morning, the tablet was down on about 1%, and that was not having watched anything. But I put some power into it, charged up my phone, I've charged up the camera. I'll probably try one more film or start one more film, but I think the time at the moment is around about 10:30, so it's quite late, so I probably ought to try and get some sleep soon. But I'll have another tea first. Given that I'm on there's a little bit of a slope in here down this way, there's not so many good places to cook. So on this occasion I've put the cooker just there. And as you can see, there's very little in the way of wetness on the super light bivvy here. A few spots which you always expect a few spots to come in, but mostly we're dry here, and unless something happens like yesterday, which is not forecast, we should be fine. Hello! It's 11 o'clock. 11, 5, 10, 11 o'clock. Listen to the rain. None is coming in. The wind is still that way. Good morning. When I woke up, the sun was shining. It's a bright sun in the sky. In fact, it was so hot, I got out of the bed. It was so warm. And I was thinking I might have to put my hat on in here. It was so, quite literally, the sun was just shining down on me. Lassie went out in the sun, and then she came back again when that rain started. But I was thinking that would be a good time to film with a load of rain hammering down and showing that when the wind is and your tarp is synchronized, you don't get any rain coming in, even though you've got a great big open doorway. Yeah, even though there's a great big open doorway there. I don't know why I was showing you the open doorway. You've seen an open doorway before, but anyway, you know, nothing comes in. You might get, I can't say that nothing comes in, but literally it's just like a tiny bit of spray, but so little that it's just negligible. You know, my arm was sort of near the door holding it, and you can see maybe you know, a few specks of water landed, but that's all. And now that rain's gone. Anyway, and now that rain's gone. I need to make a tea in a minute. I'm thirsty. I was a bit silly. I didn't go to sleep until about midnight. I should have gone to bed earlier, but I was watching Thor: The Dark World. I kind of got sort of hooked up into that and wanted to finish it, so I should have put my head down before midnight and got to sleep sooner, but I went to bed at midnight. I think I woke up at about 5, had a tea, and then I fell asleep again. I've been catnapping ever since, really, and so I've been awake for maybe half an hour. I think I woke up about 10:30. I've just been checking my phone and doing stuff on there for a bit, but I still can't leave the blooming phone alone, can we, even when we're out here sometimes? Anyway, I'll make a tea. I think got you stay. Yeah, she was nice and dry just earlier. Horrible rain. Yeah. Stay there, stay. Anyway, I'm going to make tea. I haven't decided. I've got no idea what I'm going to do today. I mean, I will pack up, obviously, but I'm not quite sure where I'm No, Leslie's stayed. I don't know where I'm going to... No, Leslie, no. I don't know where I'm going to walk today. We'll think about it. Yeah. And this is literally 5-10 minutes later. Very strange weather. Alright, well, most people at 20 past 11 have had their breakfast and have pissed off by now, but I've just put my water on, so I'm gonna have my first cup of tea. And now, 20 minutes later, after we had a bit more sun, more rain. One thing I've noticed now is the weather is doing what was forecast. And if you remember last night, I said that directly behind you the camera is north. And the forecast said that the rain would go from the west, which is sort of, you know, lengthways down here, to northwest, and then north-northwest, and eventually north. So at the moment I think it's coming around to that point where it's coming around to about northwest, because the rain is angling across this way. So it kind of be interesting to see when it swings further north, if I'm still here, and I might be at this rate, whether it might then start to blow in. And as I say, I'm not planning on being here for that, and we know it's going to happen. So if I get wet with that, it'll be my fault. Okay, well, the time is, I can't tell the time because I put my windproof on and it's locked up time. Let's have a look, hang on. 2 watches and you can't tell the time. 1:30. Put the green Submariner on today, maybe to be discontinued. We'll find out after the 1st of September. So if it is discontinued, it'll go up in value even more. not that I'd ever sell any of my watches. I posted a comment on the GMT Master 2 because there's so many, well, I wouldn't say so many, but several comments on some of the watch groups of people saying, oh, I've bought this watch and I don't know whether to keep it or not. And I can't help but think, well, if you've bought it, then then you want it. I think too many people buy a watch because they basically, they want to sell it on, because they go up in value, as I've mentioned. The Rolex Sports professional models. So I posted a photograph of the GMT Master 2 I've got with like a comment or caption post thing. I don't know what I like about it. I don't know whether I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. Really taking the pee, really. And I think one person took me seriously. I was thinking, no, I'm never going to be selling that. I thought it was an obvious joke, but anyway. Anyway, that's enough of watches. So I'm just packing up. Like I said, it's 1:30. Which is a similar time to when I was packing yesterday. You can hear the rain. It's been on and off all morning. At least this time the wind didn't do a 180, and as you can see, I can sit right in the doorway, and it's it's bone dry in here. I couldn't really show yesterday because I sort of loaded everything in here, but we've got a few rock features in here. There's a rock feature there, there's like a stone feature there, there's a stone feature there. The tail end of the bivvy is right in between a hill and a stone feature. And then, as I say, I think you saw from the outside, my piece of foam matting over there was protecting the tarp. And there's a stone right under there, which this mat here was protecting. Now I will say, in the summer I used to only bring that one piece of foam matting, and I never used to bring this Z-Lite, whatever it's called, foam matting. It's a good job I brought both last time, although last time it was for, I think I just brought it really. But good job I brought both this time, because both were needed, one over there, one here, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to pitch here. If I hadn't have had those two pieces of foam, I might have had to have just moved, you know, maybe down that way, you know, a little bit more might have been okay. But it does slope a little bit down there, and there was a bit of cow muck as well, or sheep muck or something that was a bit stuck in the ground, and I didn't really fancy shifting that. But if I'd had to have done, I could probably have pitched there. But like I said, it was quite nice to have my own rock feature here. So as I'm packing up, I'm just watching on my phone a Paul Messner camping video. Got into kind of watching some of his recently. I don't tend to watch very many camping outdoor videos. I tend to watch more watch things or other things, or just other things altogether really. But he's been quite interesting. Quite different to me. He's got like thousands and thousands and thousands. He's got like nearly 70,000 subscribers, probably because he gets out and actually does something rather than camping in the same place all the time and promoting his stuff. But anyway, you know, we do it for the fun of it. It is what it is, and more than happy with what we're doing. But anyway, you know, we did shift camp last night, which was a minor miracle. And we're gonna, I think what I will do is I will head over to that Clapper Bridge area. It's only 2 kilometres, and we're just going to take a look there. If there's nobody there, I think I'll pitch there and then just put up with a long walk out tomorrow. If there is somebody there, because there's quite a lot of flat area there, so it's probably quite a well-known area. If there is somebody there, then I'll probably just have to, you know, chew the bullet as it were, and probably head back to where I was camping, you know, well, you know, 2 nights ago, you know, the usual spot, which will be a bit of a hike back, but not that far to be honest. So we'll see, we'll kind of like see how it we'll kind of see how it pans out. But anyway, I've started packing. I've got some stuff in. As you can see, the pack's starting to get wet on the outside already here. Maybe hold the camera straight. So I'm just putting some power in the phone here, plus watching a video. I tend to get, I wouldn't say get lonely, but it's nice to have some sort of background noise going on. So I'm going to make one more tea, get these last few bits into the pack, and then we'll get cracking. So hopefully by it's gone 1:30 now, so hopefully by 2:30 we'll have I'm getting too old for these things. Need a bloody marquee. Super mid. You'd never get the super mid in this space, that is for sure. I'm not even sure if you get the trail star in here. You would get the trail star in here, but you'd have to pitch it back that way a bit. The duo mid you'd get in, of course. Just about. But it is yeah, it's kind of like a specialty rock garden camping area here. I probably won't come back here, but you never know, maybe next year. I've camped here once, so I know of it, so maybe I'll come back here again. It was quite nice, I must admit, it's quite nice, but you can only pitch east and west. You can't pitch because it's just the, you know, the space is just that angle. So if you haven't a different wind to east and west, you can be a bit stuck in a shelter like this. Alright, enough of me talking. Let's get fed up with me talking. Okay, I'm going to carry on packing up. Okay, well, apart from the last few teeny weeny bits to strap on the outside of the pack, namely the tarp, some cord, pegs, stuff, foam mat, obviously camera, tripod to go away, so there's still a few more bits to go away. But all of that I either wear or goes on the outside of the pack. I just wanted to show you, so this is where you can see my lying down position there. So basically sort of just snugged up into that little gap in there to get as close to the reeds as possible. I could have pitched down here, but I wasn't so keen on this slopey bit down here, although it would have been fine. But I just quite like that flat area there. I just had to watch out for this stone there, which was pretty fixed. And then, as I say, I just put my foam mat over that big stone there. Other than that, I just sort of draped cord wherever I could squeeze it in. So with a tap, it's always very useful to have quite long lines where possible. It's very, very flexible. Okay, well, I'm going to get these last few bits packed in, and then we'll head over to that clapper bridge and see what's there. Then I've got a nice fun longer walk tomorrow, as if I'm not late enough back. Alright, I'm going to get going. I just wanted to show you this. I was just leaving camp and I just walked across the grass here, and I was thinking something seems a bit strange here. The water's not here anymore. Remember I was showing you down through here where there was bits of skin and bone and everything, and then there was water, and deep water too. It wasn't just a small trickle. I took water from here last night, and there was a good flow of water too, and a really, really good flow of water. Now it's amazing. It's completely dry now. Just wanted to show you that. A bit of breaking news. It's kind of useful for the future. If I was to camp up here, you may not get water. There is a small water course over there, and then obviously if you walk further down, then you'll pick water up. But yeah. Okay, well, onwards and upwards. We're going to head over to that clapper bridge now.